Hello and welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us for the Canadian Observatory on Homelessness Prevention session on First Nations, Metis and Inuit experiences of homelessness. Before we begin, it's important that we take time to acknowledge the land that we are on, and we here at the Canadian Observatory on Homelessness are based in Toronto, so that's where this land acknowledgement will be centered. But we recognize that this is an online event, and we have folks joining us from many locations. So as I read the land acknowledgement for the Toronto area, I do encourage everyone else on the line to take a moment to acknowledge the land that they are joining us from today. So today we acknowledge our presence on the traditional territory of many Indigenous nations. The area known as Takaranto has been caretaken by the Anishinaabeg Nation, the Haudenosaunee Confederacy, and the Huron-Wendat. It is now home to many First Nation, Inuit, and Métis communities. We also acknowledge the current treaty holders, the Mississauga of the Credit First Nation. This territory is subject of the Dish with One Spoon Wampum Belt. And with that, it's my pleasure to introduce our speakers for today's session. First up, we have Jordan Fisher with the Assembly of First Nations. And Jordan is presenting an overview of AFN's work on homelessness and the need for distinctions-based approaches to addressing homelessness. Next, we have Jessica Rombold with the Canadian Observatory on Homelessness. And Jessica is presenting on the Endamnam Homes for All Nations project. And finally, we have Monique Fry from Help Seeker presenting on Indigenous data sovereignty, insights and lessons learned from mapping and actively not mapping, and First Nations housing services. Now, audience, during the presentations, if you have any questions, we encourage you to post them in the Q&A box. We will have a dedicated question and answer period at the end of the session. And with that, here's our first presenter, Jordan Fisher.